is Tech Talk 4 with Jay Will and Tony Pazzo and myself. So if you've tuned in before, basically what we're going to do is go over some tech talk. It's open conversation. It's all opinion. Share our hearts and our minds on what we enjoy doing on the side of our jobs and our family. Just some great tech talk, and we invite you in to share in responding, leaving some feedback. We're going to answer some questions. We are live. So at this point, I'm going to give it up to Tony Pazzo. I think he's got a topic we can start on, and we can go from there. Thanks for joining in.
What's up, everybody? Tony here, and my topic, I just want to talk about what we saw or what was released today on for the OnePlus 3. I want to know how you guys feel and think about the pricing, and not only the pricing but the specifications for that device. I find it intriguing at that price point. I think it's like $399. So
yeah.
It's $399, and then it has it's pretty specced out in my opinion. It has 6 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabyte RAM, 16 megapixel camera, and 1080. What they're calling, I believe they're calling it OLED display, optical OLED, I think is what it's called.
Optic.
If I'm not mistaken, optic OLED. And I like it. I like the design. I like that they moved. I believe they moved the headphone jack from the top to the bottom, because I like the headphone jack for some reason. I like the location, and USB Type C, and it also comes with fast charging. So what do you guys think about the OnePlus 3?
I like the fact that, well, they still didn't implement expandable storage, with an SD card slot. But the fact that they're going with 64 gigs of internal memory, I think that's if you can utilize that type of memory. I mean, obviously, not having 16 or 32, 16 you don't even want to see. 32 you at least want to see on a device without an SD card slot. But having 64 makes it that much more intriguing, especially for those of us who want that extra memory. So I think that they did right by the consumer, and then keeping it at the price point of $400. I didn't want to see it go over that price. I thought literally they were going to hit it at about $500. But they kept it at $400, 64 gigs of external memory. The jack at the bottom is nice. It has a fingerprint sensor, right? So am I correct on that one? So and I do like it. I don't know what optic AMOLED is, but I don't know if that's just a fancy word they're throwing in there for Super AMOLED. but I don't know. If somebody knows what optic AMOLED is, let me know. But I like the fact that it is an AMOLED display. So I think they went IPS last time, which, again, there's nothing really wrong with an IPS display as long as it's a good IPS display. So, I mean, I'm rocking my Zenfone 2, which has an IPS 1080p display, and it's a beautiful display. It's not very bright, but it's really nice. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that device, and it is intriguing. I don't know if I'm going to bring it in, but looks really good. What do you think, Jay?
I'm sharing the link real quick to this broadcast.
Okay.
But I was live earlier and I talked about it, and I think they should have just given up and put the Quad HD display in there. They could have. I don't see why they wouldn't, but they chose not to. But that's the only thing that I talked about earlier that I just wasn't, I wasn't jumping up and down for. But it's pretty hot. I like it. The design is pretty sweet. I had this other phone that I was showing off. People thought it was a OnePlus 3. I was kind of playing a prank on people. But it's not a OnePlus 3. I've already reviewed this phone. But it looks just like the OnePlus 3. It's pretty much built the same except for that camera module. The bottom had that antenna line or whatever. But all in all, the OnePlus 3 is probably going to be a hot item amongst the tech community, because that's who they're gearing it up for. They're not really gearing it up for other people, like average consumers, because average consumers won't spend $400 straight out just to get a phone, on an upgrade. They're going to be looking for some kind of discount. Nonetheless, though, I think the OnePlus 3 is hot. 6 gigs of RAM, I'm not really jumping up and down about that because 4 gigs of RAM performs really, really good. I'm not a heavy gamer. I don't have a lot of things open at one time. But it is going to be nice to have the 4 gigs of RAM. But the Note 6 or Note 7, sorry, will have 4 gigs of RAM. So I'm kind of excited about that. But, I'm more excited about the Axon 7 compared to the OnePlus 3 because the Axon 7 is going to offer a whole bunch more for just $50 more.
Yeah, I think.
You cut out, Tony?
It looks like Tony froze up.
Yeah,
that
Oh, there he is.
actually intriguing to me, the 399, to get the latest specs, and Unibyte design is real nice. I'm actually excited for it, just for the simple fact that at that price point you get a lot, in my opinion. I think you have NFC now, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at. I'm on their website, but I believe that they have NFC now, or Android Pay.
Let me see.
I'm checking too. I don't believe so.
Well, and again, it comes with the
Yeah,
latest.
it says that it has NFC. Yeah.
It does have NFC, okay.
Yeah, but I only use Samsung Pay or Apple Pay. I don't use Android Pay. I think Samsung Pay and Apple Pay are much better.
Let's see. It's got fast charging too, as well.
They're claiming, yeah. They're
So
claiming,
is that 2.0? It doesn't say whether it's 2. Wait, yeah, it's 2.0 fast charge.
2.0. 2.0 fast charging, yeah. Not bad, though. I'm
Not
intrigued.
bad.
I have all their devices, I believe.
Well,
I've
and
had
that's
the
what makes it
OnePlus
exciting.
1, the OnePlus 2.
Because I most likely won't be bringing it in, so I'll be looking forward to you bringing it in, Tony. Most likely, it sounds like you're going to pick it up. No more than Jay's going to pick up the Asus Ultra, which I may not pick up. I'll end up getting the Deluxe. So it'll be interesting to see what we all have in hand right around the time that all these devices jump out. So that's very interesting to me to see what your guys' take on it and your reviews as far as those devices. But yeah, I find all of them intriguing, man. I just wish I had the money to get all of them, but but it's a very beautiful looking device. But with the ZTX, I am just more intrigued with the ZT Axon 7 myself. And now with the Asus lineup, I have to choose because I don't know between all those three which one is going to be worth my money. But I don't know. So I'll just look forward to your review on it, Tony, and then we'll see what I bring in. But it is a very intriguing device, and I'm glad they kept it at that price point. Man, anything higher than that, you start to shake your head. You know what I'm saying? That's got to be the most intriguing thing. Outside of it being spec really nice, we have to have price points be very competitive, and that's a great price point to be competitive at.
I think the Axon 7 is a better choice because the price is just a little bit more. You get front-firing speakers, you get a Quad HD display, and they also have one with 6 gigs of RAM. I think it's going to cost a little bit more, but even so, I still will purchase it over the OnePlus 3, even though they don't have the Invite system anymore. It's a good-looking phone, but I have enough 1080p displays. I got enough of them. And so going forward, if I can get a nice display, flagship-type device with front-firing speakers with Quad HD display, I'm all over it. That price of $450, and then I think the 6 gig of RAM one is going to cost, I think it's going to be 128 gig, and it's going to cost $649, supposedly right now. But I still think that's worth it over the OnePlus. OnePlus is nice, but that won't be my first choice.
$649 for the ZTX on the higher end variant?
That's a rumor. It's supposed to be 128 gig, 6 gigs of RAM. That's a rumor, but I mean, they're going to probably do this based on what the customers say. So a lot of customers, that's a better purchase than the 6P to me, because the 6P 128 gig is $650 also. However, the Axon 7 is going to have the more premium sound, and it's going to have pretty much just inline specs, and it's going to have 6 gigs of RAM too compared to the 6P.
Well, and it probably will definitely push the HTC 10 out of the way.
I don't think I like it.
You know, so, and then of course the LG G5. So obviously that's a flagship device. So that's I probably won't spend that much money on it. I'll probably go for the lower end variant, but I think I'll be pretty happy with it.
Yeah, definitely one to get.
It'll be interesting to see what everybody's taking on their own devices will be. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
Brand and marketing, man. That's what sells products, because OnePlus isn't a new company anymore, so people kind of know them. But the Axon 7 to me is a way better purchase. You know, even though again I think right now the lower end version is 450. I shouldn't say lower end because it's got 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of memory, and it has an SD card slot on the Axon 7 with premium sound too, and it's pretty much stock Android as well. When I compare that next to the OnePlus 3, I wouldn't pick the OnePlus 3. I would definitely go with because of that sound, the speakers. I like the build quality too on the Axon 7. The OnePlus 3 is a sweet device, but other than the 6 gigs of RAM, what else is exciting about it?
I like the build quality, the camera. There's some nice shots from what I've seen so far. It's pretty fast.
Those are some.
I don't think it's jump up and down worthy.
That was beautiful pics on those night pics from that.
Oh camera. Yeah. I saw MKBHD. He got a nice review up. That's the only real big tech reviewer that I follow. But he did a pretty detailed review over it, and it's nice. It's just not jump up and down material for me. Not for $400. Nah.
No, it's more for like a developer, somebody who likes to flash custom ROMs and stuff, because it does come with I believe it has a unlocked bootloader.
Yeah.
So it's like
Tony, I was just gonna say that, Tony. It seems like there's a certain crowd. There's even a guy that I work with that came to me who had a OnePlus 2. I was really surprised that this guy had it, because nobody in my store of 300 employees has an unlocked device with a different name outside of Samsung or an iPhone. I mean, wow. So for someone to walk up to me and go, "Hey, check out what I got," it seems like it's a certain group of people that follow that device, that company with those specific devices. There's a certain group that that for some reason are adapted around to it. I always hear of these devices that come out, and I get so intrigued, and then there's others that I ask myself why I don't get intrigued with them. Even though they're interesting and they are intriguing, but I don't get as excited about something else. But I think there's those groups of people, you know, and I don't know, what do you call them, fanboys? But if I'm a fanboy of a certain product, then it is what it is. Call me whatever you want. But I think there's a certain group that are fans of that OnePlus device. They just are, and it doesn't matter what anybody says. That's what they're going to follow until they get it into their hand. No more than me. I mean, the Asus lineup here. I mean, I've been intrigued with Asus ever since they started making devices, and a lot of people may not agree with me and go, why? Well, it's just something that and so fanboy or not, or ZTE, ever since I had the ZTE Max, woo, that device, it wasn't the prettiest device, but it was a phenomenal working, tough device. Since then, I've been following ZTE. So again, I'm one of I just sort of jump on board with my devices, and they kind of go that. So I think that it meets a certain standards for a certain group of people. And so, yeah, I'm intrigued to find out how you see it, because that's really what you like, you know, outside of me wanting to check out the Asus lineup or the ZTE lineup.
I think that you said the fanboy thing. Where did that come from? I think that some of the things in the tech community are so silly. Like, just because you like something or you want to support something, you're a fanboy. It's kind of. I wonder where that came from.
I don't know.
I think what was, there's a select group of people who they just like modding. I think that is intrigued with the OnePlus 3 before the unlocked bootloader. That's what they like to root and flash custom ROMs. That's what I used to do back in the day.
Your connection is out, Tony.
And the iPhone 2, I was called fanboy. Well, yeah, it's pros. I think they're inside. You guys hear me? Or
Tony,
we're out.
you're cutting out. You back in?
I can see him now. Seems like when he's kind of cutting in and out. But that fanboy thing to me is just kind of silly, man. I think in the tech community, it's kind of a shame that you're not really accepted if you support something completely different. It's kind of weird, but I guess it is what it is. Online, people are different. You know, you can be who you want to be when you're sitting behind your computer. But that fanboy thing, I support Apple. I support Samsung. I like them all, man. But when you do a specific video on something, it seems like if you really say you really, really, really like it, people just. I never understood why a person would watch a video of a product that they hate and then comment and say that's a stupid device. I never understood that. Never got that. I don't know why people do that. They watch a video of something that they know they're not going to like, just to comment and say that it's a dumb device or this video was stupid. I don't get it.
Yeah, no, call me what you want. I could care less out there if I'm a fanboy or not. I mean, hey, yeah, you like something. I mean, you like it, and if you want to follow it because it's intriguing, it's interesting, and you want to be a part of that movement, then you're a fan. That's okay. It's not a bad word to me.
Yeah.
I
think they kind of turned it into something bad.
Yeah, they did, and every time I read it like that, I read it, and that's how it comes out. I would be honored if you called me. Like, yeah, baby.
Oh my God! He said, "I'd be honored if you called me a fanboy." Oh my gosh!
Where'd Tony go?
Maybe he's trying to fix his. I talked to him a message in there and let him know his connection was kind of bad, so maybe he's making some adjustments to the to his. I don't know. Oh wait, looks like he's out. He's probably doing something with his connection.
Oh, okay. Are you recording it? Is it recording on your side?
No, this is live. It's live through his channel, so he'll come back in. Maybe he's trying to fix his connection.
Okay.
But yeah, man. I think when you talk about the OnePlus 3, I'm more. Don't get me wrong. I like the OnePlus 3, but I think I'm just after looking at that, I'm way more excited about the Axon 7. Way more excited when you compare those. Not that the OnePlus 3 should be compared with the Axon 7, but I think it should. I think you should be able to compare whatever phone you want to compare. But the OnePlus 3 is hot. It's going to do very, very well in the tech community. I don't see it doing too well outside of the tech community.
No.
I don't think so.
No, I could walk around and hand flyers out to everybody at work to try to push that device, and they won't buy it.
Oh, man.
No, seriously, you could go out and be an advocate for these devices, and they're not going to know. They're not going to, you might get one or two on board, but for the most part, unless you're marketed out like Samsung or any Apple products or anything like that, these devices, like you said, they're only going to meet a group of people, and that's it. It's art, and I take it upon myself to try to notify and let people hold it and play with it. When I'm around other groups, just to see that they can get the reaction and maybe they might find a little interest and maybe they'll order it. But for the most part, no. It's always going to be a certain core, and that's just where it goes. But I'm glad I'm part of that core.
Yeah.
Because these devices are very interesting to me. And
we've been talking about the OnePlus 3, but when does the Axon 7 actually drop? Does it drop in July, right?
Now, I have not heard, but that is all I heard, but I don't know.
I'm a part of their community, so shout out to the ZTE community, you guys out there. I'm a part of their community, so
yeah, I am too, actually. So
yeah, I think it's going to drop in July. I'm pretty sure it will drop in July. I hope so.
Yeah, that's the only thing I heard. As far as dating, I don't know. It would be cool if it was like a 4th of July drop. That would be really cool right around that time. It just sounds like
really close.
It sounds like with that type of a name. Think about it. That's a sleek name. I love it when they come up with these sleek names. And 4th of July, Independence Day, drop the Axon 7, bam. That to me, that's a win-win situation
That would be tight.
for ZTE. So, yeah, that would be awesome.
I think the Axon 7, if it gets the marketing that it deserves, don't you think it's a better device than a lot of devices that are currently out?
Yeah, yeah, and I, except just maybe the Asus device. That's still.
Oh, I thought about getting that Asus device, the bigger one, but I did a comparison in size next to some other ones, and I was like, that might be a little too big.
The 6.4 or 6.8.
I think it is.
6.
Yeah, that might be a little too. It might be just ridiculous. I don't even know how I can put that together, dude.
Well, I tell you, do you remember the Sony Z Ultra?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I had the Google Play edition. That's 6.3. I carried that device in my pocket in a meet room, banging up against my machines at work, putting loads away, 0 to 100 pounds of boxes of beef and chicken. I banged that phone up with a case on it and never broke. Nothing ever happened, and it was huge.
Yeah.
I had it for a while, and then I sold it to some guy here at this computer store. But
you're a master at selling stuff.
But it was a great device, and it was huge. You know, I'll tell you, what I did is I ordered the device. Then I made a cutout out of a piece of cardboard, the exact dimensions of that device, put duct tape around it so it was stiff, and I carried it in my pocket for 2-3 days to see what it would be like carrying that device.
Wow.
And I knew at that point it was going to work. It sounds big, but like I said in the last video, they're utilizing the space of that display too. So the body isn't going to be as huge as probably what the Sony Z Ultra. Sony Z Ultra was 6.3. The device of the Asus will be 6.8, but I bet it'll look about the size that the Ultra was with how they utilize the space.
Well, I went to GSM Arena and put them side by side, and you should do it yourself. Check out GSM Arena and put them side by side. You'll see the dimensions, man. It's